In this fast-paced, ever-changing world, the only constant, innovation. The shift in thinking, creating, that lets us be future-ready. Hello and welcome. You're watching Future Perfect and I'm Miloni Bhatt. Today our focus, automobiles. From the Ford Model T to Tesla, the last century has seen radical changes in auto technology. Changes that have revolutionized mobility and have made personal vehicles even more affordable, but have brought with them tremendous challenges. For instance, increasing vehicular pollution. In cities like Mumbai and Delhi, more than half the pollution load is from vehicles. And therefore, the world over, efforts are being made to tackle this problem. So over the next half an hour, we look at technologies that are making our vehicles more efficient. Sick and tired of polluting fumes from vehicles? Get a glimpse of engine catalysts that are making your car, your vehicle, more clean. The red one, the blue one, or maybe the black. Cars of myriad hues and shades, but there's more to it than just color. An insight into the world of automotive coating. And finally, get a glimpse of an electric car of the future. Air pollution is said to be the world's single largest environmental health risk. According to a World Health Organization report in 2012, 1 out of every 8 persons died prematurely because of vehicular pollution.
We are burning petrol and diesel, which are again complex products, and they release certain gases because you're burning hydrocarbons in the presence of oxygen. So this directly releases certain gases into the atmosphere, which are lethal to the breathing process. So what are some of these gases? Like for instance, carbon monoxide. It actually blocks the flow of oxygen to the vital organs when you breathe it in. Particulate matter, which we are talking about, what you're calling the PM10, the PM2.5, these are things that are actually very small, minute particles which enter your respiratory organs, your lungs, and can't come out. And that's where the respiratory problems start. Your coughing, your wheezing, and finally, deeper distress.
For the body to function perfectly, the heart must be healthy. And so to limit pollution linked to vehicular emissions, we have to go to the heart of the automobile, the engine. So what makes an efficient engine?
Over the years, engines have now become smaller, leaner, lighter, therefore more potent, cleaner also. And at the same time, a new trend that we are seeing of engines is they're now becoming flexible, which is they can work on dual fuels, they can work on flex fuels, they can work in tandem with another energy source. And we are seeing these trends happening in India also. That will be the biggest challenge of any engine designer, any engine technologist, and also the vehicle manufacturer, which is downsizing of engines, maintaining the potency, cutting down on emissions, and making the engines far, far cleaner. While in the Indian context, very importantly, maintaining fuel efficiency.
And now, a new norm promises to limit the toxicity of fumes that come out of vehicles while driving.
The automotive sector has made the fastest development in the emission regime. We moved in the last 10 years from 2000 to 2010 from BS2 to BS4 in 13 metro cities. And from April 2017, we will be having BS4 across the country. And this is because the fuel availability is a major factor, and the fuel, BS4 fuel, will be only available from April 17 when we will be moving pan-India to BS4. But having a concern over the air quality, the auto industry is further going to jump the BS5 or the Bharat Stage 5 fuel emission norms and would be moving straight to Bharat Stage 6 from April 2020. So in the coming 3 or 4 years, Indian auto industry would have taken a very quantum jump, I can say, both in terms of safety regulations as well as in terms of emission regulations. We would be making our vehicles will be, in terms of both safety and emissions, will be at par with the developed world. And if you look at the developing countries around India and the Southeast Asia or others, we will be much ahead of them, and we will be making some of the most fuel efficient, environment friendly and safest vehicle in the world.
This is putting auto manufacturers under pressure. The test for them, how to make cleaner, less polluting vehicles in a very short time.
Today, auto companies are in a very challenging times, and we are going to move from BS4 to BS6, and it's an unprecedented challenge which has been thrown to the auto industry. We have to do that in about 3.5 years. Automakers have to meet both BS5 and BS6 in order to fulfill the requirements of BS6. Companies like BASF are working with us to ensure that the after-treatment devices which we are putting on our vehicles meet the emission norms. But they also play a much more important role, because, as I said, from the design stage itself, they are working with the automakers to ensure that the designs itself are optimized. We are not specialists in such technologies. This technology is provided to us by companies like BASF, who are at the forefront of developing chemistry. And so I think it's a win-win situation for both. We work together to ensure that we improve the overall environment.
We work closely with the car manufacturer from the early stages of engine development to optimize the catalyst performance. We make the catalyst in this facility. We have a substrate or a monolith which has got several parallel channels which are used to coat the catalyst coating. Basic requirement in a catalyst is to maximize the surface area so that the exhaust gas can react and get converted into harmless gases. This is manufactured here and then using high technology precision coating machines coated inside the monolith. This becomes a catalyst which is fitted in the exhaust system, which reduces the emissions which are put out by the car. The government of India has announced the timeline for moving from BS4 to BS6, skipping BS5. This will come into effect from April 2020. The emission requirements will significantly be tightened and will require more than one catalyst to meet the requirements, either in the case of petrol or diesel. BASF is working on innovative ways to address this problem and has already come up with what is known as a 4-way catalyst, which combines the existing petrol catalyst, which is a 3-way catalyst, plus a particulate filter in one single component. Same way in the case of diesel, also we are combining the what we call SCR, selective catalytic reduction, with a particulate filter to eliminate the need for one component, which would help in packaging this, as the packaging space is premium in the engine compartment.
There's more to a good car than meets the eye. The smooth finish of a bright paint coat has a much deeper story to tell.
As part of our Mercedes-Benz strategy of being the leader in the Indian market, manufacturing has been a cornerstone in that, and paint shop and the manufacturing strategy go hand in hand. So we are the only luxury car manufacturer in the country who have the paint shop of their own, and we really focus on the painting process in India. To do that and to be environmental friendly, if you see the product development is taking place globally, focused on environmental effectiveness. One of the major cornerstones of that is also that you have to bring down the weight of the body. To bring down the weight of the body, there are a lot of new high tensile strength material which is getting used, low weight material getting used. And because of that, it's moving out of conventional steel body to a lot of alloys getting used, UC bores and different type of material getting used. The joining technologies of these different metals as well as the surface treatment of these is undergoing a tremendous change. And to remain in the forefront of the technology, we as Mercedes-Benz believe that painting is one of the major turning stones for us to be able to bring latest technology to the Indian customer and be able to offer by different color combinations so that it can meet the customer requirements. And customer requirements are varied. From that point of view, BASF being locally available, being our partner locally, we are able to bring in different colors what the customer needs. And if we have certain challenges in terms of getting the material which is not available in the Indian market, BASF is able to support so that they are able to make it available for that particular color, for that particular pigment to be used in our cars.
A strategy that's worked out well for Mercedes in India. A 4-layered water-based coat not only protects the car, but it also imparts durability, not to mention great looks.
For an automotive car to perform on the road, we need to get right first on the anti-corrosive layer. We call it as the electrocoat. This electrocoat is nothing but the embedded coating which happens with the electric current. Followed by that, we have the next layer, we call it as the primer surfacer. This primer surfacer smoothens the surface, which gives to the subsequent coloring coats a good base. The next coat is a base coat, we call it, which imparts the color or a sparkling effect which we see into the cars today. And this is what is, I will call it the aesthetic part of a car or coating. Next one comes a clear coat. This is a clear resin coat which gives a lot of scratch proofness or scratch resistance to the car. It also gives a gloss to the car, and it also gives a long-term protection to the car body.
On the other side, the Hot Wheels of the future. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Future Perfect. I'm Miloni Bhatt. In this episode, we're talking about innovations in auto engineering technology. There's no end to imagining the car or personal vehicle of the future. Will it fly, drive itself, generate its own fuel and energy? Let's find out.
In today's day and age, a smart car is fundamentally a very connected car, which means it's connected with the driver, it's connected with the outside surroundings, and obviously when the two come together, that's the whole package of really making the car quite smart. So connected with the driver, what it means is it gives him a lot of information without distracting him too much. There are a lot of, let's say, safety features also which are there in today's smart cars. So you've got things which, it can sense if the driver is going to make a mistake and take corrective action. And I think, it all leads towards which is going to be, I think, the ultimate way for a smart car, and that is autonomous driving. So basically, you're driving right now very often with cruise control, which is your feet off. Soon you will get where the car steers itself, so it's hands off. And then, it'll come a time when you don't need your head also. So the car will just be doing everything. So I think really it's in these stages we see cars getting smarter and smarter. And it's all about really eventually towards autonomous driving or cars that drive themselves, which is going to be the smartest cars.
For a generation that runs on smartphones, lives in smart homes, it makes sense to have a smart car too. And so Daimler and BASF collaborated to create this concept car, Smart 4 Vision.
So what we actually introduced the basic concept of solar panel. The first solar panel was just an hexagonal glass. So what we did is that we actually used this hexagonal glass concept as a transparent solar panel, and we had a special die made by BASF. So we introduced that die on that hexagonal panel, and then it became a kind of organic photovoltaic cell, and which we put in the roof of the Smart 4 Vision, and this is actually absorb the solar energy and convert into an electrical energy. So these electrical energies are used for consuming some of those electrical energy, which goes for say ventilation, climatic control, running the multimedia. So the battery, which is actually the electric car, which is used only for running the car, rest of other consumptions can be used through the solar energy. So this is one innovation which we have demonstrated there. We actually had one big advantage of reducing the weight in the seating system. We actually integrated the whole seating system with plastics, very high reinforced composite plastics, along with polyurethane system. So this integrated seating system has reduced the weight drastically. At the same time, it has the foam which we have used for cushioning, for seating, was a special foam, low density foam, which also has, we could manage to have this seating arrangement with very less space. So this has also given a lot of more space, additional space inside the car. We have introduced a pigment in the paint system. We call it a cool paint. So this actually, in the sunlight, the infrared is actually transfer the heat. So what we have done, this paint system, these pigments reflects the infrared, absorbs the UV light. So it only so that the heat goes out, it doesn't go in. So by this, the surface temperature we can bring it down to around 15 to 20 degrees centigrade, which helps to maintain the inside of the car cooler.
What is your vision for future perfect in the industry when it comes to automobiles?
Yeah. The future of automobiles is going to be a very, very important topic for everyone concerned, because about 60% of the population around the world, and particularly in a country like India, is going to be living in an urban environment, and mobility within the cities and between the cities is going to be an extremely important topic. Innovation and R&D is a key strategy for BASF. This is what spurs our growth, and that's why we spend about 1.8 billion euros on an annualized basis on research globally. The way that we push our envelope in the whole R&D area is to globalize R&D through a clear recognition that the needs of societies and needs of people in different parts of the world is starting to be different, and this in itself will be a source of innovation. So the future perfect for me is when mobility for common man becomes accessible to a lot of people. It is also then environmentally safe, and more importantly, it is fast and also enjoyable. So this would be for me my vision for future perfect in the whole area of mobility and automobile.
Vehicular emissions is a reality. The only thing we can do is limit its impact. And for that, we need to work towards more fuel-efficient engines, smart car color codes, and most importantly, building emissions-free vehicles. Every day, our world faces new challenges, and perhaps the only way to survive them is to innovate. Solutions to sustainable living and innovations that power it. That's been the aim of our journey on Future Perfect. Well, that's it from me and the entire team here at Future Perfect. Goodbye.